Hello. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to take you on part of my personal journey in the online business world over the last 2 decades. So, what I've done is created a no BS guide to earning money online. There's not going to be any fake course pitch, no click here for the secret, just what's actually worked for me and what cost me real money to find out the hard way. Now, I'll tell you, I probably have done a lot of the similar things that you've done. I've sold on eBay. I have also run an Amazon FBA business with my wife that we worked up and hit close to $50,000 a month. I published Kindle books and I built over a dozen digital courses, including 2 courses that are on Udemy. So everything in this video comes from actually doing it, not reading about it. Here's what's coming. The 2 things I tried that flat out just didn't work, including the one that got shut down overnight for a reason I still don't fully understand. The handful of words that should make you close the tab on any opportunity the second you hear them, and the 2 things that actually did work. The second one is exactly where I'd start today if I were beginning from zero. So stick around because at the end, I'm giving you a full 9-step EverFlow roadmap for free. It's a framework that I use to connect traffic, offers, email, and automation into one business system. All right, let's get into it. Now, here's the thing that nobody tells you. Almost every legitimate method to earn money online can work. Drop shipping can work. Affiliate marketing can work. Amazon can work. YouTube can work. Digital products can also work. So, does this work is actually the wrong question to ask yourself. The better question is, what will this method require from me in time, money, skill, control, and risk? And is the likely payoff worth the investment? That's the scorecard I wish I had used from the beginning. Time, money, skill, control, and upside. Because some opportunities can absolutely make money, but the economics are bad. Others produce income but leave you dependent on a platform you don't control. And some look slow at first, but build an asset that compounds over time with no ceiling. Now, these are hard lessons I've learned along the way, and I hope I can spare you some of the same heartache. Let's talk a little bit about eBay. This is my first example. And to be clear, eBay worked. I could list products, find buyers, and make sales. The problem was what happened after I looked at the whole equation. You have a platform that charges you fees, you have listing fees, and of course, eBay gets its piece. You have buyers who are often very price sensitive. You have sourcing, packaging, fulfillment, and the time required to manage every transaction. By the time I looked at the margin relative to the effort, I just decided the juice simply wasn't worth the squeeze for me. That taught me my first lesson. Revenue by itself is not enough. You have to evaluate the economics behind the revenue. Now, here's a quick pause. If you're 40 and over, and this is the first time Make Money Online content has actually made sense for your life, hit that like and subscribe button for the channel. It helps this content reach more experienced professionals who've been overlooked by everyone else in this space. Moving on, let's talk about Amazon FBA. This is my second example, and this one was completely different because it really did work. My wife and I were doing what they call retail arbitrage. We found a Nike liquidation store nearby, and we could go and buy discounted inventory that couldn't sell in their stores, so they just put it in the store for liquidation so you could buy it much cheaper. Then we would turn around and resell it on Amazon. Now, we learned the system, sourced inventory, repeated what worked, and eventually had built the business where revenue was around $50,000 a month. And the margins weren't bad even after Amazon started taking its fees. But what happened is that over time, Amazon started still adding more and more to those fees. The cost was going up, but still the margin was still worth it. We had evaluated at the time, so we kept on with it. And as it grew, Amazon had an internal program for sellers that were selling inventory consistently, and it was hot merchandise. They would even offer you loans. And so we took a big loan of around $20,000 on a 6-month term to help us grow and even buy more inventory. So everything was going great, all the way up to where we were about to go on a really expensive family vacation overseas. And then Amazon shut us down permanently. They said that we would not be allowed to sell on their platform ever. And I still don't have a clean explanation I can give you for why it happened. We went through appeals, spent months trying to get it resolved, and we watched something we had built become inaccessible almost overnight. To say we were stressed is an understatement. We still had all of this inventory. We had high credit card bills because that's how we were buying the inventory. And we still owed Amazon a balance on that 6-month loan that they had given us. And I didn't know how we were going to come up with the money. It was really demoralizing. And eventually we got our account back, but only after hiring an expensive agency who specialized in getting accounts reinstated. But it taught me something that has influenced almost everything I believe about online business today. If somebody else owns your access to the customer, you own an opportunity, not the entire business. Amazon owned the marketplace. Amazon owned access to the buyers, and Amazon could change the rules. We were operating on rented land. That is why I talk so much today about building an email list. Platforms create discovery. Your list preserves the relationship. You can absolutely use YouTube, Amazon, LinkedIn, social media, paid ads, or any other platform. But I want a path that moves the relationship towards something I can control. Now, I mentioned earlier there are 6 words that make me skeptical. And before I tell you what worked better for me, here's a filter that can save you a lot of money. Whenever an online opportunity is being sold primarily through words like this, my skepticism goes up. Automatic, passive, guaranteed, easy, risk-free, fast. Now, that does not mean every person using one of those words is running a scam. But when those words are doing most of the selling, you are probably being sold the ease of the opportunity versus the effort of the actual process. Real businesses have friction. They require a mixture of skill, time, capital, learning, persistence, and risk. The faster somebody tries to erase all of those from the picture, the more careful I become. Let's talk a little bit about Amazon Kindle. Now, one of the models that did work for me was when I started Kindle Publishing. Back around the early 2010s, Kindle Publishing was becoming all the rage. They said it was going to basically do away with traditional publishing. Well, it didn't. But in 2015, I jumped aboard and I published some books around subjects I already understood, including the stock market and options trading. That distinction matters. I wasn't waking up one morning and researching a random niche because somebody told me it was hot. I was packaging knowledge I had already spent years developing. And suddenly there was no warehouse, no box to pack, no physical inventory to keep replacing. My experience itself had become inventory, and I was making around $1,000 to $1,500 a month. Now, it wasn't life-changing money, but it gave me some breathing room at the time as a father of 3 small children. And I liked the idea of creating a digital asset once and prove it when needed, and it can continue being delivered over and over again. Now, that doesn't mean that the Kindle business is effortless or that every book makes money. It means that the model taught me something much bigger. Knowledge can be turned into an asset. Moving on, this led me to digital products, and it also taught me what I would do differently today. Now, before I get into that, let me just mention I have built dozens of small digital courses. I also had a couple of them that were listed on Udemy. One was based on price pattern trading from my market experience. The other taught video production and editing using Camtasia, a skill I was already using myself. Again, it wasn't life-changing money, but it paid the car payment for the family van. Again, notice the pattern. I wasn't inventing expertise. I was packaging what I already knew. But if I were starting from zero today, I would actually begin smaller than a full course. I would identify one specific problem I know how to solve and build the smallest useful offer around it. And that could be a short report, a checklist, a template, a mini training, paid workshop, or even a consulting call. Do not build the biggest product first. Build the smallest product that creates a meaningful result. Then put it in front of real people. Listen to their questions, look at what they buy, pay attention to what they ignore. Your first offer is not supposed to prove you're a genius. Its job is to put you in contact with reality. And this is where experienced professionals have an advantage. If you have spent 10, 20, or 30 years becoming good at something, you may already have the raw material for a digital product, consulting offer, workshop, or coaching program. You just have to learn how to translate it. And if you aren't necessarily an expert, then don't lose hope. There are still methods that you can use to become an expert. One of the ways is to go to Amazon and look up every book that is a leader in your particular category. Research it, read the comments, go to YouTube, look up the best performing videos that are on that subject. Over time, you'll assemble the knowledge, and as you slowly start to implement it for yourself, you're going to build the knowledge, skills, and experience you need to make an attractive offer for your space and become a subject matter expert. Now, if I had to start over again and start at zero, here's the model I would use. I would use a sequence that I have seen played over and over again that I have actually used. I would, number one, inventory my experience. And this is where you ask, have you spent years becoming unusually good at something? What problems do people usually ask you for your help in solving? What have you learned the expensive way? And after that, you'd want to find one specific problem. Not everything you know is equally valuable to the market. Find a problem that's painful, frustrating, expensive, or time-consuming. Then create the smallest useful offer. Do not disappear for 6 months to build a giant course. Create a report, a template, consultation, workshop, or mini product that helps produce one result. Next, choose one traffic source. Now, maybe that is YouTube, maybe it is LinkedIn, Medium, Substack, or another platform where your audience is already spending time. Pick one and get really good at it in order to learn something. Next, the most important piece, build an email list. Do not let every person who discovers you disappear back into the internet. Get them a reason to join your list and continue the relationship. Now, once you've done all of that, go back and listen to the data. Look at opt-ins, sales, calls, comments, questions, objections, and repeated problems. Then build the next offer from the demonstrated demand. That is how a simple offer grows into a real business. How much do you actually want to earn is the question you ask after these steps. There is another question you need to answer honestly. What does earn money online actually mean to you? If you want an extra $500 a month, that can be relatively simple to implement. If you want to replace a $5,000 monthly income, well, that requires a different skill level, but with consistency, you absolutely can achieve that. If you want a 6-figure or a 7-figure business, eventually you are talking about systems, delegation, paid acquisition, automation, management, and capital. The size of the goal determines the size of the machine you will eventually have to build. But you do not have to begin with the machine. Start with the first dollar, then the first 100, then the first 1,000. Build competence and repeatedly before you worry about scale. Now, all of these attempts, they taught me a lot of lessons. And when I look back, every one of these experiments gave me something. eBay taught me that revenue without attractive economics is just not enough. Amazon taught me that distribution without ownership is fragile and can be taken away. Kindle taught me that knowledge can become inventory. Courses taught me that expertise can become a scalable product. And the business I am building now combines those lessons. Own the relationship, create intellectual assets, test offers, listen to the market, and then build systems around what works. Keep in mind, a hobbyist hopes for sales, but an architect actually engineers them. Now, in closing, I just want to say, if you're looking at all of this and thinking, okay, Billy, but how do I connect the traffic, the offer, the email list, the customer journey, and the automation? Well, that's exactly why I created the EverFlow roadmap. It's my free 9-step framework for building those pieces in the right sequence. You can download it through the link in the description and the pinned comment below. And if this video saved you some time, money, or a painful lesson, hit like and subscribe. I'm documenting the $10 million project as I build the business from the ground up, including what works, what fails, and what the data teaches me. Go ahead and tell me in the comments, what is the one way you've tried to earn money online? And was it worth the effort? And if not, what lesson did you learn? I read all of these comments and I'll be sure to be replying. I'll see you in the next video.